Hey, and welcome to D&D Fight Club, the show where we take one cool monster and slam it against 4 PCs to see who comes out on top, so you can have a better idea of what to do during your next tabletop game. Before we get started, if you can go ahead and jump below and hit the like button and subscribe. Also be sure to click that notification bell so you know when we come out with new videos. Also in the description underneath, there's links to our Twitter, TikTok, and Patreon accounts. If you can go ahead and check those out, it'd be really awesome. So without further ado, let's get into tonight's fight. Hey everybody, so tonight's fight is actually going to be against a troll. The PCs are going to be spec'd to level 4 and there are 4 of them, so that means our fight is actually considered hard according to the D&D Beyond encounter builder. Now sometimes I don't trust this encounter builder at low levels because it doesn't take much to take a fight from hard to very deadly, so we'll have to see what happens. Let's give a quick breakdown of what the troll brings to the table. The first thing we'll notice is that the troll is considered large size, so it takes up a 2x2 square. That can be really great for you as a DM to kind of plug the hole in a hallway or a tightly packed forest, but can also be very disadvantageous if you have multiple melee focused PCs. They can really swarm the thing and get it on all sides. Breaking down the defenses, the troll has an armor class of 15, which is pretty close to kind of the average for this level. At this level, most PCs are hitting with a +5 to a +6, so that means they're going to hit anywhere from a 9, 10, or 11 on the die, so they're going to hit fairly often. The troll also has a breakdown of 84 hit points, and we'll see that that actually comes from 8d10 plus 40. So 84 is the average. It could go all the way up to 120 if you're like me and sometimes want to roll the hit points, or even if you're in the middle of what you wanted to be an epic boss fight and you wanted to make it last a little bit longer, you can bump this up a little bit. You know, you have about 36 hit points to kind of play with. Speed on the troll is just your average 30, and it's got a +1 initiative, so it's not necessarily going to jump early unless we roll high. Let's see, breaking down the stat block, and it's kind of exactly what you'd expect from a troll. 18 strength and a 20 con for a big, strong, tough monster. A 13 dex is slightly above average, but it's not going to be diving out of the way of everything. The next part, the intelligence, wisdom, and charisma stacks, they're all extremely low. A 7, a 9, and a 7, which really spells out a very, very unintelligent monster. So what that means for us in this fight is going to be that the troll is really just going to smash whatever's in front of it. It's not going to worry about taking out healers or high damage dealers or casters because it doesn't know the difference. It just knows, I'm getting hurt, this thing in front of me needs to get hurt. Outside of what we do here, if you were role-playing it and wanted to do any type of social encounter, it's going to be really easy to trick a troll. It's going to be really easy to talk circles around them. They are not great, but they're also very, very angry, so that could backfire in your PC's face. The next section of the box, we have its skills and senses. A slight bump to perception, which will help with any sneaky rogues trying to hide behind trees or anything. Dark vision, if it was going to be at night. I don't think this fight is going to end up being in the dark, but it is a good thing to keep in mind for your game. Default languages, the only thing that trolls by the book know how to speak is giant. So if your PCs come across one and start trying to speak to it in common, you can even roleplay that it barely knows any common or that it doesn't know any at all and just hears them yelling and talking and gets angry and smashes them. The troll is a challenge rating 5, which puts us, like I said, right in the difficult to slightly deadly area. What I like to do for challenge rating is I add up all of the player levels to get me a total, which in this case is 16. If they're below level 6, I do about 1/3 to 1/4. If they're above level 6, I do half, and that's just to keep it challenging but not unfair. Last thing the troll has in here is keen smell, which again in our situation doesn't do a whole bunch, but in your game, if the troll is sitting guard and you have a PC that just so happened to roll in the mud with the pigs or fall in some cow dung, he's probably going to smell them a lot easier than normal. The next thing we're going to take a look at is the big ability for trolls, and that is regeneration. The troll regains 10 hit points at the start of its turn. If the troll takes acid or fire damage, this trait doesn't function at the start of the troll's next turn. The troll dies only if it starts its turn with 0 hit points and does not regenerate. This means that 1, that 84 hit point pool is going to be boosted every turn by 10, and if your PCs don't know that trolls regenerate and that they need to hit it with acid or fire, once it drops down to 0, it's going to fall down. They can walk up to it and maybe try to search it for cool treasure or loot, and on its turn it'll get that 10 hit points back and jump right back up and be able to start smashing again. Looking at its actions, it doesn't have a whole lot going for it other than multi-attack, and it does take 3 attacks, 1 with its bite and 2 with its claws. The bite is a +7 to hit, which at this level most PCs are going to have anywhere from 14 to 18 armor class at the highest, unless you've done some crazy stuff like giving them plate mail or magic items. So even on the toughest fighters and paladins, it's still going to hit on a dice roll of 11, so you're going to hit more often than not. It does an average of 7 damage from 1d6 plus 4 piercing, so it can do a little bit of a bite. Once you move down to the claws, when things get really scary, it does 2 of these claw attacks, again at a +7, but they do an average of 11, 2d6 plus 4. So that means in a multi-attack round, the troll can hit for right around 29 damage on average, sometimes even higher. That is enough to take most of your caster levels, your cleric even, down to 0 in one quick attack round. And even your tougher fighters and paladins aren't going to stand more than 1 or 2 rounds of that before they are on the ground. So you got to be smart because they can hit hard. The next thing I like to look at is the art, because a lot of Dungeons & Dragons monsters have really cool art, and the troll does not disappoint. It is big, it is mean looking, it is green, these claws are massive, the big angry teeth, and you kind of get a feel for what this monster really is just by looking at the art. These long limbs, this gnarly face, and then scrolling down into kind of the flavor text and description. I like to use this little sentence to 2 sentences if my players are not familiar with the monster we're taking on, and I want to make sure they know, like in this case, that acid and fire can stop the regenerative properties of a troll. I'll maybe let them roll a nature or an arcana or some other type of check, history even. 1, to get a chance to use those skills in combat, even though D&D 5e doesn't really have those rules like Pathfinder and 3.5 did. It's still good to use them. There's nothing saying you can't. And then just give them a little bit of information. You don't want to be the one that sneaks up the death kill on these PCs. They beat the troll and then not knowing the little bit of fact that probably a lot of people in this world would know, we're going to give them at least a chance to know something. As far as their actual description, they're born with horrific appetites. Trolls eat anything they can catch and devour. They have no society, but they mostly serve as mercenaries to orcs, ogres, Ettins, hags, and giants. Usually trolls just want food and treasure, and they are extremely difficult to control. And we saw by their stat block, they are not very intelligent, not very charismatic. One neat thing on this stat block is the Troll Freaks option, and that is really, really cool. Pretty much it works out that if you cut off the limb of a troll, when it generates that arm or leg, it could actually regenerate 2 arms in its place. So you can end up with 4-armed trolls or 6-legged trolls or even 2-head trolls. It actually says it right here, a decapitated troll might grow 2 heads from the stump of its neck. I think that's a really cool feature for anytime you're running a game that's going to last more than 1 combat. You can have them decapitate the troll, and if they don't know to burn it with fire and run away or go farther into the dungeon, maybe later in the day or a few days later, the troll comes back and it has 2 heads and the heads argue with each other on how to take care of it. You can even add in, it's got 2 heads now, so you can add in an extra bite attack on its multi-attack, and just it makes a really cool low-level scaling boss for your PCs to go against. Okay, so now we know what the monster is, and let's take a look at what the player characters are for this fight.
Hello, my name's JJ, and I'll be playing the Orc Barbarian Hanaz. Hi, it's JJ once again. I'll be playing Brett, the Aarakocra College of Lore Bard.
Hi, I'm Nate. I'll be playing Wildspark, the Tabaxi Assassin Rogue.
JJ for the final time. I'll also be playing the Kalistar Merlin, an evocation wizard.
Round 1.
And here we are with our PCs confronting a troll in the woods. First up in the initiative order is Merlin. What are you going to do?
Casting a Melf's Acid Arrow.
All right, go ahead and make that roll.
15.
15 will hit. Go
Okay.
ahead and roll that damage.
That's 8 acid damage.
8 acid damage.
You also take 2d4 acid damage at the end of your next turn.
Okay, keep me honest on that. 8 acid damage. And the troll rears back as the acid hits it and screams at the top of its lungs.
Chill.
Next up is going to be Wildspark. Wildspark, what are you doing?
I'm gonna shoot my short bow.
All right.
And it had to say natural 1.
Natural 1. That's not going to get through the troll's tough hide. Next up is Brett. What is Brett doing?
I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire on the troll.
Fairy Fire. What save does the troll have to make?
15 dex.
He rolls a 17, so that magic leaves Brett's hand and doesn't stick to the troll. The troll is going to bound forward. Which mini represents Merlin?
Back right.
All right, he's going to swing into a position where he can attack Merlin, who just shot him with an acid arrow. He is going to make 3 attacks on Merlin. First is a bite attack. And that is a 10 to hit.
That misses.
Merlin's able to duck out of the way, followed by 2 claws. First one is a 20 to hit.
That hits.
And that is going to do 10 damage to Merlin.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I take that back. Make that 14 damage to Merlin. And then the next claw is a 11 to hit.
That misses.
And this troll, angry that he's getting hit with this acid, comes bounding in and starts slashing. It is Hanaz's turn.
Takes 2d4 damage, by the way.
2d4 damage to the troll. Good job keeping me honest.
It's another 2 damage.
And now it is Hanaz's turn.
Okay, Hanaz is gonna rage.
Basically cover anything.
That's right.
Oh,
It's now going to rotate over to here, and it's gonna swing out its Great Axe.
Go for it.
It's a 19.
A 19 will hit.
That is a 8 or 7, not 8. 7 total damage.
Alright, Hanaz comes around and slams into him with his great axe, and that's the end of round 1.
Round 2.
Merlin, what are you gonna do?
Merlin, I'm gonna take the disengage action to avoid opportunity attack. I'm going to slide 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Alright, is that it for Merlin? No bonus action?
No bonus action.
Alright, Wildspark, you are up. What are you doing?
Alright, so I'm going to move 60 feet away using the feline agility.
Alright, which direction 60 feet?
Straight forward.
Alright, JJ, go ahead and move that 10 squares.
12 squares. 60 feet.
Right to the edge, yes. Thank you for correcting my math. And that is your bonus action and movement. Or no, just your movement. You didn't even use your bonus action.
Yeah. Alright, and I'm gonna do a very basic move. Range thing, shooting them. Yeah, that does.
What's the dice total?
19.
Okay, yeah, that totally hits. Roll, and there is a melee combatant within 5 feet, so you get your sneak attack damage. Make sure you
Nice.
add that in. Should be like 3d6 total. it is Brett's turn.
Ah.
The Aarakocra, what are you doing?
Brett is going to use his movement to fly. So he's going to fly upwards and hang out here. And he's going to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on the troll.
Oh, what does the troll have to do? What's
A DC 15 charisma save.
I rolled a natural 1 for a -1 total.
Wow.
So the troll is now laughing on the ground, correct?
Yeah, falls prone.
And is incapacitated for his turn?
At the end of each of its turn, time it takes damage, the target. Oh, at the end of its turn, each time it takes damage, or at the end of its turn, it can make another saving throw.
Okay. Well, it is now the troll's turn, so his turn goes rolling on the ground, giggling at himself.
If you take advantage or damage, you get advantage on it, by the way.
Okay, well, he hasn't taken damage yet, but it is the end of his turn. He rolled a 5 total.
Wait, I thought
Does
I
not
thought I did 11 damage.
It does
He
not.
did.
It's while it's affected by it.
That was, well, it's affected by it, yes.
Yep.
Good call, though. Alright, it is now Hanaz's turn.
Um.
He's not going to close the round
I get instant advantage, correct?
because he's on the ground yet.
Okay, then I'm going to. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to frenzy attack, and then I'm going to attack once with my great axe. That is a 19 to hit.
19 will hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, 6 damage.
Okay.
I still get advantage, correct? On
Yeah.
the bonus attack. I'm gonna make a bonus action attack. Use the friendly raids. 15
15 hits.
for 7 damage.
More damage. Is that it for Hanaz?
Yep.
Troll does get to make 2. Okay, here we go with the trolls. Saving throws. A 8 total. And a 17.
17 passes.
No longer laughing, but still prone.
Round 3.
Alright, start of round 3. Merlin, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna cast Chromatic Orb at 2nd level, but hold it until the troll stands up.
Alright, sounds good. That way you don't have disadvantage. Wild Spark, what are you going to do?
Steadying. Also hold my action until he stands up, but instead of doing any spells, I'm going to shoot him.
Alright, and that brings us to Brett's turn. What is Brett
Gonna cast Healing Word on Merlin.
Alright, go ahead.
For 1 health.
I believe you also get the spellcasting bonus on that. It's 1d4 plus probably 3.
It just said 1d4.
Oh, okay.
Double check at that after the round.
Now it is the troll's turn. So the troll is going to stand up. It's instantly going to trigger first Merlin's attack, then Wild Spark's attack. So go ahead and stand the troll up for me. Yeah. Alright, Merlin's Chromatic Orb. Now you have to roll to hit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Whoopsie. 21.
21 will hit.
You need over 15 to hit.
What type of damage are you doing?
Poison.
Poison damage. Interesting.
I would poison if it was a troll.
For
Maybe it's just
20
a-
damage.
20 damage. Wow, that is a big, hefty hit.
I only hope now I'm hoping that this troll is not resistant against poison.
Alright, and then Wild Spark, you are also going to, when you use steady aim, so you have advantage. Go ahead and roll.
Always use steady aim, kids. 21.
21 will hit. Go ahead and roll that damage with sneak attack.
So that's 38, correct?
36.
Yes. Yeah, that's what it is. And 11.
11 damage.
Second
Another-
11.
Another arrow comes whizzing by. This troll is looking very, very hurt. However, it is now his turn. He is going to unleash all 3 of his attacks on the closest person to him, which is Anand.
Who hasn't
First,
done
we're going
anything.
to go with the bite attack. And that is a 9 to hit,
That misses.
followed by 2 claws. The first one is a 12 to hit.
Misses.
And the The second one is an 18 to
That
hit.
hits.
Right. So we're going to go ahead and do that damage.
I keep forgetting how bad trolls
For
are.
10 damage. He's raging, so it'll be reduced to 5. With that, it brings us to Hanaz's turn.
Hanaz is gonna frenzy attack.
Alright, go for it.
Did I get advantage of that or no?
Not unless you use Reckless.
We're gonna reckless attack it.
Okay?
Do I get advantage on both or just one?
Both. Every attack you make, even if you take an opportunity attack.
19 plus.
That'll hit.
Yeah. For 12 damage.
Damage. He's looking very hurt, but he's still up.
25
That'll hit.
for 9 damage.
9 damage. You guys are wrecking this thing.
I want to do
That
that.
is it for round number 3.
Round 4.
Alright, start of round 4. Merlin, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna cast another chromatic orb, but I'm gonna cast fire this time.
Okay, go ahead and roll for damage. Or roll for attack.
Ooh, that messes.
10.
10 is not going to be enough. The orb is just going to whiz on by. That brings us to Wild Spark. What are you going to
Right.
do?
Steady aim.
Absolutely.
Steady aim. Short bow.
It's with advantage.
22 to hit.
22 will hit. And roll that sweet, sweet sneak attack damage.
That's pretty high. $17.
17. Wow, that is a shot to this troll's heart. It is reeling in pain. It is almost down. Brett,
Come on, magic boy.
you are up.
Gonna cast thunderclap on him.
Thunderclap.
Yep.
Is that the one that you have to be? Isn't that melee range?
No, it's up to 100 feet.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Uh,
Will it hit our barbarian though?
oh. Every creature within a range of 100 feet has to make a Constitution saving throw, take 1d6 damage.
I don't think that's how that works.
That's the cantrip thunderclap. Clap.
I feel like that is incorrect.
You create a burst of thunderous sound that can be heard up to 100 feet away. Each creature within a range other than you must make a Constitution saving
Okay,
throw.
what is the range on the actual spell in the spell description?
Oh, 5 feet.
Yeah. That one you're not able to do from up in the air.
That's fine. I'm just gonna cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter again.
Of course you are.
Charisma, DC 15.
And I rolled a 5, so he
Wow.
falls to the ground laughing. That spell is going to break. And having a terrible charisma is part of it too. Sure, it's charisma, not wisdom.
Pretty sure it is Wisdom.
Doesn't matter because his wisdom is almost as bad as his charisma, and I've rolled it terribly. Now he's going to roll to see if it wears off at the end of his turn. And he rolls a 12. DC 15.
DC 15.
So he is rolling on the ground laughing. It is Hanaz's turn.
Hanad is gonna frenzy attack and reckless attack.
Alright.
20.
20 to hit. Will hit.
Isn't it an auto crit since he's on the ground?
No.
Okay. Oh, great, that sucks. For 6 damage.
Alright, he's still up.
And then his second attack. 21
One will hit.
for 15 damage.
15 damage. And with that, the troll stops moving.
Oh.
However, we're going to stay in initiative order for a minute. Merlin, what are you going to do?
Don't touch it. Don't taste it.
Gonna throw acid splash at it. See what happens.
There we go. Do you know that's something that needs to be done with trolls, or are you just guessing?
Kinda guessing.
Okay, go ahead and give me. He is incapacitated, so what is that? Is it a save for me, or is it a
Roll for
to
you?
hit roll?
It's a save.
Okay, which save?
Dex.
Oh, he's incapacitated. He automatically fails a death save. And since he took acid damage on this turn with 0 hit points, he will not regenerate, and he is dead. The heroes have conquested and vanquished the troll. They win this round of D&D